Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball FX2. What table were we on? Let's see, we're done with Star Wars, I know that much. We did Tesla, and then we did Iron Man. Let's see, El Dorado, and then Spider-Man, then 2012, then Wolverine and Socials. Yes, so we must be on El Dorado here, because we did Iron Man. It's been a while. It's been a day and I've forgotten. Let's play El Dorado and see what it is. Now, interesting here, El Dorado could be like Mayan culture, it could be Aztec culture, it could be a little bit of mix of everything. I'm not sure there really was a place called El Dorado, so it could just be made up. The achievements here are survive the giant ball ramp on El Dorado. That sounds interesting. And collect 3 quartz skulls, which quartz skulls are that terrible 4th Indiana Jones movie that should not ever be spoken of. And that was a crystal skull and the aliens, and it's the same thought. There is actually people out there that think crystal skulls and quartz skulls are some kind of alien or mystical things. This is a very interesting table. It's way too green to start with. It looks like there's a magnet here. Pop-up bumpers look like they might get hit kind of easily. We have a nice painting of a lady and an Indiana Jones style guy with a golden skull. Flashing some other skulls. It's a kind of Nathan Drake, Tomb Raider references. There we have a skeleton. Looks like there's a lane and only one ramp and then a spinning head. And then at the very top of that flat upper part is like some kind of flying creature, and there's a ramp on the far right that goes right into the backboard. I don't know why that means. Then, interesting, there's a pop-up ejector that shoots the ball in the ramp. And then some kind of mana pools or something on the lower left and lower right. Noticeably, there is no 3D models of anybody. This must be one of their original tables before they started doing all of that. Let's start playing. Way too much green. Way too much green. But this table looks interesting to begin with. How many missions does it seem like there are? It could be 4, could be 6, could be even 8. Could be 15 actually. As we fill in this medallion for different things. There's a snake ball save in the gutter. That's interesting. Wow, that is way too early to set a 3-ball multi-ball. Wow. Did I get really lucky? Or did I just do something that's really easy? So the mouth of that hill looks like it doesn't spin after all. So you have to hit the teeth of that mouth. And then, wow, it looks like I might very well just get a multi-ball. Nope, instead it goes up. Interesting. Spelled Jade, and I get ball saver for a second. So it's kind of a totem. So there's a giant pinball chasing him. Nice reference. Totally something you should do, even if it's not an official Indiana Jones table. If this was an Indiana Jones table, I think you would have to have the Russians or the Nazis show up, which then that kind of hurts the family friendliness of the pinball, because that's who he was fighting the whole time in all the movies, except for Temple of Doom, in which he's fighting just a crazy cult. So then, but you would want to reference all of that. Short round, wow, achievement.
Narrow escape.
I escaped the giant marble. And see, that moved it up a little bit more. This totem can't go but one thing higher. Well, it's gonna actually get close to hitting the glass that theoretically is above all of this table. Although since this is just a virtual table, it doesn't really have to follow that rule. It'd be kind of silly. It'd be kind of silly to make me do this one more time. Anyways. See, that's the whole totem full, and now his mouth is shut.
Hurry up!
I got an artifact. I have a slight problem with the audio balance here. The talking is a little quiet compared to the music. The music is kind of a little too prevalent. A little too loud, a little too upbeat. It's pretty good idea. So we failed the mission, whatever the mission was, and then that totem just went back down. So that was cool and all, but I think we just failed the mission, and that means we're gonna have to go through that whole thing all over again. A massive amount of shots are necessary to start a mission, if that's the only way to start a mission. There is something still missing here. Since everything's so far in the back, both the upper playfield and the lower playfield feel kind of empty, which I've only been able to make the complaint up to this point that the table's lower playfields felt empty. This is a new level of just having a lot of empty space. It's a pretty good table about not shooting the ball back and making you lose. It's also a slightly wider table, and I was a fan of that in the Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens table. I'm kind of a fan of it here too. Going a little bit wider and possibly making the table a little bit shorter helps in the play. But it kind of is still running into the same problems of having not enough variety here. It feels, at least it feels initially. Maybe we'll find some more things to do. A lot of ramps that we're feeding up into just to get the ball back down.
Hurry up! Look into the map of the island.
See, when he said that last time, I started multi-ball. So it is slightly easy multi-ball to start. But also a no ball saver multi-ball, interestingly enough. So even immediately as the multi-ball starts, you can lose it. This sinkhole target that pops it back up the ramp feels like a ramp in itself. It's a tough shot. Like I'm trying to hit that shot. Cross shot. Are there any dot matrix games in this? Are there any mini games? We'll wait till we lose and find out. There may very well be not. These are probably the original tables from Pinball FX1, and I'm not sure Pinball FX1 even had the same mentality or idea. They upgraded jump past the using the left or right flipper buttons. Oh, I see. Where you have to jump past the saws. Interesting. That's a cool thing. Never seen that before on any pinball table. I've probably seen something similar to it, but I can't think of it. That's a really cool idea. Too bad it doesn't happen more often. We've seen somewhat similar things where you knock the ball with pegs to the left or right. Here we go, multi-ball, quick multi-ball. And it wants me to make that far right shot, which is a tough one to try and pull off. Also wants me to make a far left shot. Kind of difficult to make either one of them, particularly when the balls are bouncing into each other. Multi-ball is generally just randomness. Because one ball bounces into the other, and even if you are playing skillfully, you kind of have to hold one ball and just play with one flipper. And I have seen some pros play that way, where they'll only play with one ball and they'll just hold on to the other one, holding it like on the right flipper, and then when the ball starts to come towards the right flipper, they'll quickly flip it over and move the ball they're holding to the other flipper, or they'll just shoot one ball and hold the other, and try to have 100% control of the one ball in play, which I suppose is the professional way to play. It kind of ruins the fun of playing a lot of games if you try to play professional, because you don't want that randomness, you don't want that possibility of failure. You want to play your best game depending on that you can, depending on the other factors that you can't control. And particularly in pinball, since you learn it as a random sport. Nobody starts pinball and tries to be a pro and tries to control all the shots immediately. You learn it as a little kid doing this over and over again, and having just fun seeing it do that. So you have to lose the fun in being crazy and wild, and start to become controlled and play the game completely with a different mentality. You can't just go like this. By the way, if you do just like this, you will lose pretty fast. Okay. So I'm probably somewhere slightly in the middle, because I will probably hit both flippers, but I won't hit the flippers when there's no balls near the flippers, at least. Frenzy, multi-ball. I do believe I started a multi-ball inside another multi-ball, which I don't really like that. I wish there was more opportunities to just either continue the current multi-ball or do something different. It seems really silly that, oh, you're already in a multi-ball, let's start a different mode that's a multi-ball mode. That seems silly. I'm fine if you start missions in a multi-ball mode, and I'm fine if you get jackpots and awards and special rewards and kickbacks and everything else. Just, if you were going to start another multi-ball in a multi-ball, then the game should probably throw out another 3 balls. 6 balls on the table. Just go full crazy with it if you're going to allow that, instead of changing the mode and still maintaining only 3 balls on the table. They certainly could have, Zen Software, Pinball FX certainly could have had one table that did a little bit more than 4 multi-balls. There was one table where you could lock as many as you wanted and slowly increase your multi-ball to whatever you wanted, and it would increase your bonus too. but to get up to high numbers like that required a unrealistic amount of effort.
Into the map of the island.
Into the mouth of the island. Since this is El Dorado, the city of gold, it's a little surprising there isn't more gold here, but okay. Isn't that what it is? El Dorado, the city of gold?
An adventure begins.
So trying to hit the skeleton that's floating up here. Nice. Lost it. So there are several adventures here we can do. Pretty good table for scoring on though. 11 million on the first try. That's nice to see. So what achievements did we get immediately? We shouldn't check now. Giant ball ramp. Collect 3 quartz skulls would be the other achievement. We'll probably never get this. So beginning adventure, clear away the drop targets in front of the stone island and aim at the idol start to activate the ancient mechanism to make the statue elevate from the ground. After 3 stone heads are on the surface, flip the ball into the idol start to start an adventure. Shoot the spinner if you would like to choose another adventure. So it's telling you what adventure would start even. I don't like the idea of shooting it in his throat. Why can't they say mouth? That seems different. Hit the lock and ball targets here to find it into the idol's throat for a 2-ball multi-ball. Okay, we've done that. Frenzy. After multi-ball has been achieved, hit the idol's throat during a frenzy of the lost observation. You can get very rich quickly by collecting super jackpot during the 3-ball multi-ball frenzy. Shoot and the jackpot is in there, I assume. Shoot the excavation orbit to start digging, but only after you have found a site worthy for excavating. To find a new site, translate the glyphs by shooting the monument orb. Where is that? Artifacts. Precious artifacts can be found at the pyramid. The golden idol makes the stone idol elevate onto the surface immediately. Remedy gives you 2 additional seconds to find a serum when poisoned. Decryption discloses the location of a new site. 4-leaf clover raises the minimum jackpot value. Golden bridge starts the Mayan challenge mode. And finally, silver ball starts multi-ball. The Mayan challenge. After the ball is fully elevated, hitting the pyramid several times takes the ball into the unique shaped rear habit trail. Quest here is to jump over the sharp blade 3 times. Tap the flipper buttons at the right time to successfully jump. Did I make it over it 3 times? I guess I did. Oh. Gold search. When the idol is on the surface, the ancient path opens in a dark jungle. You can travel through the mini playfield by flipping the ball into the hole below the pyramid. Okay. I don't think I'm ever going to get up here. Tilt the mini playfield with the buttons of the flipper arms to direct the ball over the lighted treasure symbols. So it's not a magnet thing, even though it looks like a magnet thing? And I guess you're trying to avoid the holes in the middle. Interesting. I don't think I'd ever get that to work. Poisoned. Sometimes explosives have to deal with dangerous situations such as hostile tribals and dangerous snakes. If you're poisoned, choose a serum as quickly as wisely as you can by opening up the left and right tomb. After the ball is in the tomb, you'll find out if you chose well or not. Interesting, I don't think I'm ever going to do that. Extra ball, shoot up there to get extra ball. So we can go back to the table. Again, the instructions are not explaining a lot there. What about skill shot? Did it say anything about skill shot? No. What about the different modes that start when you hit the totem? Didn't say anything about those. What about kickbacks? How do you get the kickbacks? What does the spelling Jade actually do? Who are these characters? What are they doing? Simple things like that. Who, what, where, when, and why. Did they explain any of that? Who? No. What? What are we doing? Not really. Where? Theoretically, this is in El Dorado, but they didn't really say it outright. When? Nope, no time frame. And why? Absolutely nothing about why. They have completely failed to answer any of the questions you might want to answer.
Look into the map of the island. And adventure begins.
We're doing the wall climb, which I assume is these two bright ramp shots. And the loop. A lot of these missions on these tables is just like hit the one thing we want you to hit and nothing else. And oh, by the way, we have a timer going, so you'll fail after a certain amount of time, even if you hit other things. And that just feels like all the missions are also hurry up modes, and I prefer missions not to be hurry up modes. Seems like it's giving me a decent amount of time though. 160 seconds is almost 2 minutes. Doesn't seem like we're gonna run into any natives. I could certainly understand that if there's no actual living tribe protecting a city like El Dorado, which is certainly possible. But there's plenty of pyramids and things lost in the forest of Central America simply because the forests are so thick and people don't have any real reason to go searching them. And even if you fly over in a helicopter, it's all covered in trees and stuff, which explains the green and the moss and all, but this artistically is just ugly. It really is. Overuse of green by far too much. I'm surprised there's not a little bit more swamp and water use. Like there's a little bit of blue up there that I think implies some swamp water or something, but I missed the multi-ball option there. I'm not ready to blame the table for my losses yet. Unexpected trip. This feels like a table you could play for a good couple hours, and then you probably do everything on it. This feels like one of those tables you can become an expert on and get bored with kind of fast. Something. It translates glyphs and all of this. I would really like somebody to explain to me why it seems like I get one good game and then I never get anywhere close to that one good game again. And it's usually a good game in pinball early on, and then all my luck expends. If I was more of a gullible person, I would actually believe that there is some kind of exhaustible magical force of luck I have that I just use on that one good game, and then I can't ever have it back, or I have to wait a while for it to recharge. Of course, if that was scientifically true, I would go to Vegas, bet every single dime I have on black on roulette, or actually a number on roulette, and win on the first spin and then never gamble again. But that would be pretty crazy to do. And if it was scientifically proven that luck actually existed, and it wasn't just people's own confirmation biases making them think they have luck, which I am not immune to, they wouldn't have a Vegas. Gambling would quickly go out of business.
Magnificent.
It's tempting even to believe in luck when bad things are happening to you, too, because then you can say, well, I'm having bad luck now, but it's all going to pay off when I win that lottery ticket type arguments, which is just a way of deluding yourself.
Dig up some treasure.
And the sad truth is, the reality is that more bad things happen to everybody alive than it should, and it's just how it is. And it would be nice if more good things happen to people in general. They just don't. Of course, that is just a value judgment. My personal value judgment. Made a narrow escape. We would have gotten that achievement again. I suspect that's a really easy achievement to get. Achievements don't work on Steam, particularly with this game, because of the way they're set up. You never get them all. I doubt. I should go look at the statistics, but I probably won't ever get around to it. But I doubt many, if any. I bet it's less than 1% of all the people who have ever played Pinball FX2 have gotten all the achievements. I bet it's less than 0.01%, because there's just so much variety on tables and so much demand, and you would have to own all the tables, which I'm not even sure that many people would have done. This is the worst thing about this table is it's just an eyesore. It's kind of boring. It has us hitting the same thing over and over again to start missions. It's the standard Zen mentality of why can't you just... I have to make the same arguments over and over again. It's like, why can't I just start a mission really quickly? From the plunger or somewhat, or right after you launch the ball. Why do I have to raise a totem by hitting its two blocking drop-down targets? You literally have to make, let's see, 6, 7, 8 shots before you can even start the mission, and the 9th shot to start the mission. That's way too much work. What it is an admission that the missions are boring, that they can't stand up on their own if they happen too often. So they're trying to make them rare so that they aren't redundant and annoying. I kind of wish that left lane would feed into something a little bit more interesting than just the bumpers. I'm dying a lot here. I'm still not sure if I want to bring the table for it though. And we can see the game is being sluggish and laggy again. Nothing I'm doing explains that one away. I don't have any games running in the background or anything. I do sometimes wonder about, I leave my internet browser Chrome open, and that does take a significant amount of RAM and stuff. So maybe I should just adopt the policy of closing it. Ideally, I'd like to adopt the policy of having a second computer that does everything besides video game stuff, but that would be difficult and exaggerated, if that's the right word. It'd be a little ridiculous. I technically do have a laptop. I guess I could do that if I wanted to. It's not like I stream live or have a chat to look at. I don't think I'd ever do that. It seems like too distracting. I can barely focus on the game as it is. If somebody is talking to me in the chat in the meantime, you'd see me play twice as bad at the minimum. Probably 3 to 4 times worse. Okay, so we got that award that immediately puts the whole thing up, which is nice. So we can start a mission. As soon as we can hit inside the totem's mouth. No real center shot going on here. Labyrinth. Shoot to orbit where the light is flashing. There really aren't even any orbits on this table. I would have to say that they squished a lot of stuff on the right and the left to have the center really empty. It feels like they could have done something more there.
Shot.
So it wants me to make a center lane shot. There. Doesn't seem like there's a timing going on or anything. So if I can just make the shot, I can just make the shot. How many times do I have to make the shot? The dot matrix display is not telling me anything. It's not telling me how much time I have. It's not telling me how many times more it wants me to do it. It's just leaving me to guess.
Go. Dig up some treasure.
Center lane shot again. As a tight shot. It's so far away from the flippers, it's direct up the center.
Very lucky.
We did it. We got 1 million, but it didn't seem like it locked the totem in the
Watch out.
and down here on the playfield. So I don't know if that actually means anything or if it just randomly blinks things at different modes. That'd be really silly if it didn't mean anything, but I don't know. I can't read anything there. It looks just like hieroglyphics and pictograms. Oh, there's a sinkhole target. I did not know that was there. The instructions and table guide didn't mention that at all. Golden Bridge.
Fire challenge.
Let's see. So,
Mission failed.
I failed it. Oh, so you really need to time it, or it's just gonna knock you off. Interesting. And I don't get another try on the mine challenge. So, at the far right is a loop. they would shoot into that upper playfield. That's how you get up there. But you have to hit that far right, very hard. Is there a skill shot anywhere? I don't think there is. Just like no skill shot, nothing. And we've, of course, had that argument, in that same conversation. I repeat myself over and over again because these tables repeat themselves, but I think every pinball table should have a skill shot. At least an option of skill shot. I think that's the core of pinball. I think you can't change that.
Look into the map of the idol.
Barely got the ball up to the top of the playfield there. Just some of these shots feel so weak. It feels like they're barely getting halfway up the table half the time.
Up.
There's something with the physics here.
Awesome.
Definitely. There's something with the physics here that's wrong. The ball just doesn't feel like it has the right momentum to it. And that would certainly explain again why they would change from Pinball FX1 to Pinball FX2. But also I think Pinball FX1 was just a standard idea of a pinball game where you're going to have 4 tables and that's it, and that's all we're ever going to sell. Pinball FX2 took it to a whole nother level with saying, no, we're going to license and we're going to DLC this thing like crazy, and because of all of that, see, and the statue now is slowly falling downward. What are we doing here? This mission's different. I assume I'm supposed to be hitting those things and getting it down.
Mission accomplished.
Did we succeed? Apparently we escaped before the whole tower fell down. I bet that's what was happening, is that this is like representing a tower, although I would call it a totem more than a tower. So we got 10 million, that's not far from our 11 million, and how long have we been playing? 40 minutes. I think there's more here to see. Whether I'll see it or not is another question. This is a table I can certainly play. It is ugly, but unlike some of the other tables, I didn't feel like 20 minutes in that I'd seen everything and I know what's going to happen. The fact that it does have missions and there's something to do here, the fact that while it's kind of difficult to start them, it's not impossible. It's a little bit of a shame that there's no place to lock 3 balls for a multi-ball, it seems like. That seems like breaking from tradition too. It's the same old argument though. Every time they change something, I don't like it. Every time they leave something the same, I don't like it. So I'm never gonna be happy. This is a better than average table. I feel like they probably put more effort into the original Pinball FX tables too, knowing that it was only going to be those 4 tables, or maybe some DLC to add 2 more. I'm sure they never thought they were going to get up to 55 tables and huge licenses. In a lot of ways, it probably went from Zen just wanting to make a simple pinball table game that would pinball game that would sell for $10 to a entire like genre mega AAA style game here. They can get all these licenses, and effectively by the time you bought all the tables, you probably have paid $60 for a pinball game that in reality you should have probably only paid $10 for. So their scope and their ambition seem to really get higher. And I like the idea in general of the licensed tables. Particularly if Zen could have done it right. That's the big if. If Zen had done the licensed tables the way I would have been happy with them, then I would be clamoring for every single big AAA video game to cross-promote and come out with a pinball table. Because it works on almost any game. Like, you could do a horror game, you could do an action game, you could do a first-person shooter. You can make a table based on anything that has a decent story and is liked. You could have a Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, how many of them there's you could do Halo, you could do anything. Just look at the Family Guy pinball table. That Family Guy has really no connection to pinball whatsoever, yet it's a fine translation. Now, I would argue that the real-world Family Guy table is probably better than the one they did. And Zen still suffers from, in my opinion, it suffers by not doing tables in a way I would like. And in general, I don't feel like they understand what makes pinball pinball and what fans of pinball are looking for. And they may very well be going down this path of trying to make pinball for non-pinball fans, and then they may very well have found out, well, that doesn't sell that well, because it is a kind of a locked-in niche community, I would say. Pinball fandom. We try to get people into it, but it's not an easy thing to get into. Let's see. Get up there and start another multi-ball. And
go dig up some treasure.
I would play this table a lot more if I could just turn off the green. Get rid of all this green. It's way too green, way too much yellow. Doesn't look like even a very pretty yellow on my monitor. So we just keep playing until I guess we run out of time, and we'll see if we can see anything new. Seems like the random rewards for getting up to the temple is kind of easy to get, so you're going to exhaust that pretty quickly. Seeing all the missions, I think we've probably seen most of the missions. There's probably only one or two left. The multi-ball not staying around for very long.
Super jackpot!
Super jackpot sounds nice. Give me super jackpot some more. What did I have to hit to get super jackpot? More super jackpots, please. Or is it limiting me? Can you only have one super jackpot? Got the ball saver for a short time there again. I lost it, then I got it again. I wish I could get up to that upper playfield, but I just don't think we're ever going to make it there. It requires getting a very sharp right ramp. A lot sharper than that. any target like that practically can't do it. Not intentionally. Almost had it there, but every time I attempt that shot, I'm gonna potentially lose the ball and lose the game. So that was a slightly angled return down the center lane, but nowhere as bad as some of the other tables we played, and I was able to recover it. A lot of ball savers going on here. Probably too much. But the reason why there are so many is because I am losing the ball a lot too. So they've adjusted their table to accommodate its flaws. Which, if half the tables in Zen Pinball FX2 had just done that, I would have lost the ball a lot, and it still would have been a pretty bad experience, but it would have been nowhere as bad of an experience as what we did have.
Artifact found.
Golden Bridge.
Challenge.
So we're gonna try and jump over this perfectly.
Mission failed.
Oh, and you can't land on top of it. You really gotta jump over it. Interesting. Surprised I succeeded the first time then. Almost got it in there.
Hurry up.
Real easy to get this hurry up multi-ball. What was it called? A frenzy multi-ball?
Ball saved.
Ball saved again. I'd say almost every shot in this table is well thought out, except for that upper playfield shot. So, unlike a lot of the other tables where I really probably couldn't have done all the missions because they ask for they ask for really hard shots or something. This one actually seems like it has a successful, like I could actually do all the missions. I could actually get to the end, and we've seen me beat 3 or 4 missions out of 6, but we've never seen me get anywhere close to doing all of them. This one feels like you might be able to. I'm gonna banish this skeleton. How many times do I have to hit the skeleton though? And now once we hit some lanes, nope, I needed to go a little bit further to the left, a little bit further to the left, a little bit further to the left.
Mission accomplished.
Oh, apparently I did it. I didn't realize it, but I did it.
Boss. 5 minutes.
So we actually finished a mission there, and it stayed lit, which is to say that there's at most 4 missions, and we've done 1 already. Maybe it's only 3.
Extra ball.
Got an extra ball. We're at 13 million. That's our new high score, and at this rate, this will be our last game because we'll just run out of time. This is the teamwork multi-ball that you're trying to hit this shot, the sinkhole on either side. That's kind of difficult. really difficult, let's be honest here. And then what's really weird is on the right there's a difficult shot, and there's an even more difficult shot. It's like it never stops. And then the left is not much better. And this teamwork multi-ball, I suppose you should just enjoy it and try to get as much score as you can. And we never hear either the guy or the girl's voice, really. We're just hearing an announcer's voice, which I assume is not one of the characters we're seeing here. So they just painted somebody to paint a girl adventurer and a guy adventurer and be done with it. I'm like, okay. No more story to it, no more audio to it, no more meaning to it. They certainly could have gone the route of the shaman table and been horribly offensive here, but frankly there's nothing here I see offensive at all, because you're not really even talking about people, you're talking about this fake city of El Dorado. Now certainly some atrocities were probably committed in the search of a city of gold called El Dorado, but they're not covering those people or those times. At worst, you can make the Indiana Jones argument that you've got this guy coming into a different country and stealing national treasures from them to put in museums in a completely different country. I suppose if you had made Indiana Jones in modern time, you would have him finding treasures and then selling it to the country that you found the treasures in, which doesn't really work if it's like if you're finding treasures in the middle of Germany during the Nazi regime, because then you're just selling treasures to the Nazis.
Go dig up some treasure.
Indiana Jones actually is a terrible archaeologist. That he disturbs everything, he moves everything, he steps on things and runs on things all the time. He doesn't do what real archaeologists would do, which is to make a grid and then lie very delicately on the ground as they're dusting a little bit of dirt off of everything. Indiana Jones breaks things and smashes things and destroys things like crazy. He doesn't do much as far as research or interviewing the locals or having any helpful impact, and he does just take the artifacts and put them in a museum in America, in the United States. And the worst case scenario is he's a pretty bad scientist too, because he claims to be an atheist at some point and sees clear proof that magical holy relics work, that should at the very least be exposed to society and revealed. He has, like the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail. Any true scientist that was also an atheist should see that evidence and say, well, at the very least I should reevaluate things. But he just kind of ignores it and allows the government to hide the Holy Grail and stuff like that, when any good scientist should absolutely be screaming all over the place, I've seen the Holy Grail. He maybe make himself sound like a lunatic, but he not only does society a huge disservice, but he does his own father's research a huge disservice. Kind of out of just spite against his own father, or ridiculous line of thinking.
Don't stop shooting.
So, yeah, I like Indiana Jones, but If he was a real person, he would have a lot of explaining to do. He does unethical things by hiding the evidence he's found.
Awesome.
And hiding the things he knows.
Look into the map of the eye.
And it takes a lot for an archaeologist to violate ethics. So let's see if we can start another mission. I've got so many missions, like, are they spinning and cycling because of the spinner? I think they are. So there are like 9 missions you can do. And once you complete them, they come out on that outer ring. And the inner rings I don't think ever light up. And this game is just gonna keep on going. I have other things I planned on doing today, and here, I was kind of hoping this might even be a short recording. Instead, this is probably going to be a long one, but I can't really complain about that. That would be ridiculous. The fact that I'm playing well and enjoying myself, and because I am, even though I am a little bit bored and talking about Indiana Jones, which is only slightly relevant. It's boring for its lack of story and interaction. But ignoring that, I'm actually having a lot of fun with this table. The ball's staying in play, I'm not dying a lot. I'm probably dying more than I should, but the ball saver is adjusting for that a lot.
Mission failed.
So this might be the end, or did I have another extra ball? Nope, that's the end. And we're 57 minutes in, and right on time practically. So that adds to our other high scores, getting us up to 2,116,000,000, which gives us a super score of 2,116. That multiplies by the 57 tables we played, which gives me a wizard score of 120. We never got to the end of those, that other achievement of Crystal Skulls. We never saw anything about that, so I don't even know what that was. So there's more to El Dorado still, and I would definitely come back and play it some more. Let's look at the overall scores. So we have one cheater, obviously, at 2.5 billion points. Then number 2 is at 500 million. Number 3 is at 400 million. That's 100 million difference. On this table, I got 21 million, 100 million difference. Maybe, but maybe not. Then it's a 60 million difference for number 4 from number 3. It's only a 20 million difference from number 5. And then it's a 40 million difference here, a 20 million difference here, 20 million difference here, about a 20 million difference here, and only a 10 million difference here. So I would say possibly that the top 3 are definitely cheating and everybody else is legitimate. If you take my high score of this and do 20 times that, that would be 400 million. 400 million is right here. So even number 3 is somewhat believable compared to the other tables. Of course, the super scores are certainly not believable. Same thing over and over again. 3 billion, 2 billion, then a sharp jump to 400,000, 3 million, 2 million, sharp jump to 400,000, and then steady decline all the way down to 74,000. So, since the super score is 1,000 towards that, 74,000 is 74 billion, I believe. So, number 10 has 74 billion. I barely have 2 billion. 20 times better than 2 billion would be 40 billion. So if I was playing 20 times better on every single table, and I had these other 10 or so tables, let's see, 10, 11, 12 tables, I could see maybe getting up to 60 billion on your super score, but you would have to be a really, really good player, and I don't know if there are that many good players that have even touched Pinball FX. And of course, the wizard score is affected by the super score multiplied by the number of tables, so all of these scores I can throw right out. No friends, the challenge will be the Pinball King of. The top high score that the table was expecting was 10 million, and we got that 3 times, and spent so much time playing that I probably only played 3 or 4 games, really. Or maybe I played a couple more and they got knocked down. Tournaments still not happening, and never are, obviously. It's been a year, over a year. Anywho, that was El Dorado. I definitely enjoyed that, and one of the best things. So I would come back and play Excalibur. I would probably play I'd play El Dorado. I'd probably play Paranormal. I might try Wild Wild West and Rome and Pancha and Biolab and Secrets of the Deep. I think I might touch those. Epic Quest, sure. Maybe even Mars. Actually, come to think of it, if I was gonna pick any, I'd probably pick a non-licensed table before I picked half of the Marvel tables or half of the Star Wars table. Portal and The Walking Dead may push me into playing those too. Next time we're gonna do Marvel Spider-Man, and we played Marvel's Venom and that was pretty bad. Spider-Man better be a lot better. Spider-Man, if the Fantastic Four or Wolverine aren't the most popular characters, Spider-Man is then definitely the most popular Marvel character. So we'll do Spider-Man, and then we'll do V12, and then we'll do Wolverine, and then we'll do Sorcerer's Lair, and then we'll be done. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right is a blue button. It says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.